An OD cost matrix stands for Origin-Destination Cost Matrix. And we can undertake that with an OD cost matrix analysis layer in ArcGIS Pro. This type of analysis does the same thing and uses the same algorithms as the facility incident model or the closest facility analysis layer. The difference is that this particular analysis is meant mainly to provide tabular output, so a table of results of the closest n, that's the closest number of facilities to each of the locations, which would be called incidences in the closest facility model. Here, the terminology changes because it's more generic, and we have origins and destinations. Origins being the same thing as the incidences within the closest facility model, and destinations are equivalent to the facilities in the closest facility model. The only thing this does not allow is to output the actual geometry of the streets. And it also does not include driving directions. And so it's a quicker way to undertake a closest facility analysis if you don't care about the graphic outputs. Let's say for the same public health seminar, OPH, Ottawa Public Health, wants to give each physician's office a choice of the closest two hospitals. And so this requires then telling each physician clinic the two potential hospitals they could report to for training, based again on the minimum travel time. Now, this could be done using incident facility, but when we start to get n greater than 1 or 2, and this is just 2 here, but let's say when we want to do like n equals 8, so we want to assign we want to find the distance from each physician's office, let's say, to all 8 facilities for every office. Well, that's better done using what's called an OD cost matrix. An OD cost matrix means Origin-Destination Cost Matrix. And this is a matrix which is flattened to a single column in a table that contains the physician identifier, so the physician identifier and the hospital name, just like before, but also then a 8 that'll be repeated 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8 times. So same physician ID, same hospital, 8 times, like so. And then there's a column, I'll just change that over here to HN, and then a column showing the time for each of those. So the minimum one would be the first one, right here. And the second one would be the second one. So that could be like 5 meters, that could be 20 meters, and then 35, 55, 200, all the way down to, all 8 of the hospitals. So it'll show physician ID, 8 different hospital names, hospital 2, hospital 3, hospital N, whatever the names are, and then how long it is taking to travel to each of those. So sorted according to distance, for example, for each one. So 5 minutes, let's say 20 minutes, 35 minutes, 55 minutes, 200 minutes, 55, whatever, up to the 8th one. And so it gives a complete set of distances for every physician to each hospital. And then you could choose from there, I'm just interested in the first 2, so I'll just choose the first 2 items for each physician ID, just using a query, for example, if you wanted to. Now, the reason I'm talking about this OD, it's a closest facility analysis, but in terms of the matrix that's coming out at the other end, we call it an Origin-Destination Cost Matrix, and it's faster to compute that than it is to do closest facility analysis, even though the same algorithm is used. This one has less baggage, let's say. So to do so, from the network button, I choose OD Cost Matrix. Then the terminology also changes. We have origins and destinations. Destinations are the facilities, and the origins are the incidences. So origins and destinations instead of incidences and facilities. And you'll notice the order is also inverted. So destinations or facilities are second, and origins or incidences are first. Whereas in the incident facility model, it's facilities first and then incidences. So you just have to remember what's what when you're doing that. So the first thing we would do is we'd load up the same data again. We put in physicians as the origins. And we use physician ID, and we sort by physician ID as well. You could choose not to have a sort field if you don't want to. Whatever, it's up to you. And everything else is the same. So we're not doing anything different. We just have to remember that physicians are the origins, or incidences, the other name for those. And we click Run. And then we load in the destinations, which are the hospitals or the facilities. Again, there we choose hospital name because that's what we want, a combination of physician ID and name in our table. And we click Run. The result then is a table where it has total minutes, and then for each physician ID, all 8 hospitals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sorted in ascending order of the time it takes to travel to them. So for the first physician, these are the closest to it, highlighted in red here in the square box. Of course, the third one is right here, Civic Campus, Riverside, Sisters of Charity, Eastern Ontario Campus, and General Campus, or MA 4. And it tells you how long it takes to go to each one from that particular location. Likewise, for Physician 2, the Royal is the first one, 5-minute travel time. Next one's not too much different, 5.78 minutes, big deal, 5.94. And then maybe up to here, Children's Hospital is 10, away. So that would take more time. And this is called the OD cost matrix right here. So this total minutes, again, is just a flattened version of a matrix that has the physicians labeled and the names of the hospitals. So it's quicker to compute that, that's all, than using the incident facility model. So that's the reason we use it often, because we want to get a list of all of the distances to each feature from another set of features. You can even have the same set of features going in there if you just want to create a distance matrix of distances between each feature and each of the other features.